Genesis chapter 12 begins with a pivotal conversation between God and a man named Abraham. Go forth from your country, and from your relatives, and from your father's house, to the land which I will show you, and I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and make your name great, and so you shall be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and the one who curses you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth will be blessed. This command to Abraham includes two promises. One promise is that Abraham would eventually become a great nation. The next promise is that all families would be blessed through Abraham. This second promise will eventually be fulfilled in Jesus, the Son of God, who is a direct descendant of Abraham. The following of Abraham's lineage is ultimately about Jesus as Savior of the world, not just the nation of Israel. In this brave new world after the flood and after the confusion of the languages at Babel, patriarchs, or family fathers, become the leaders of their large tribal families that eventually form into nations. Unlike a normal patriarch, Abraham has been called to leave his homeland and family ties to travel to a distant land where he is promised a future posterity. Abraham obeys God, takes the beloved wife Sarah and his nephew Lot and heads to this unknown territory. In Genesis chapter 13 through 25, you can see the unlikely life of God's faithful servant Abraham. Abraham does not understand how God will bring about this great nation he's supposed to become, especially since his wife Sarah is unable to have children. This leads to Sarah giving her handmaiden to Abraham as a concubine. The maid Hagar does bear a son for Abraham named Ishmael, but God explains that Ishmael is not the child of promise. That child will be born to Sarah, though she is old and has never borne children. Eventually, Sarah does give birth to a child. He is named Isaac, and this child of promise is to be the next great patriarch in the lineage of the Jewish nation. No recounting of the life of Abraham would be complete without talking about the sacrifice of Isaac. In Genesis 22, God tells Abraham to sacrifice his son Isaac on a mountaintop. Abraham, with heavy heart, prepares to do that very thing. At the last second, God stops his hand from lowering the knife. This event is considered the apex of Abraham's faith. Unable to fathom how God would ask him to do this, and unable to comprehend how God could complete his promise to use Isaac to make a great nation if Isaac was dead, Abraham did what God said anyways. Based upon his actions, God would tell Abraham, "For now I know that you reverence God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." This act of a living faith on Abraham's part earned him the name Father of the Faithful in Romans chapter 4. Time will progress, and Isaac will grow up, marry a courageous young woman named Rebekah. Abraham will pass away, and Isaac will carry on the lineage as the new patriarch. The major events of Isaac's life can be read in Genesis 24 through 26. Isaac, like his father, will have two sons. Unlike his father, those two sons will be twins, born on the same day, only moments apart. Esau the elder and Jacob the younger. Esau and Jacob have a tumultuous relationship and rivalry, greatly affected by their parents' favoritism. Though Esau is the older boy, God does not choose him as the one through which Abraham's promise will be fulfilled. The great nation will come through Jacob, not Esau. Both boys have their flaws and both boys have their strengths, but ultimately God chooses to use Jacob as the next great patriarch. And it is Jacob's life that we follow next as we see the beginnings of the Israelite nation unfold.